Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making something that is so much fun and it's perfect for a summertime treat, a wintertime treat, and it would be perfect for Father's Day. It's a dessert pizza with the works with a berry marinara sauce over the top. It's awesome. It's awesome. So it originally came from my textbook that I wrote years ago. And it is just so much fun. The whole family can get involved. The little kids can do something for dad and actually make it with their own hands. Super fun. Now, before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button. I want you to become a subscriber. I really love having you in my kitchen, and I don't want you to miss any of my tips or videos. Okay? So click that notification button. So we have to make our crust first. We're going to have a flaky pâte brisée, or basically a pie crust for the bottom of our pizza. We're going to put it in a pizza pan, but we first have to make the dough for the crust, and we're going to use a little cream cheese to get it really tender, and it's going to be super flaky because we have butter and cream cheese. That's a great combo. So I do it in a food processor. If you don't want to use a food processor, you can just do it in a bowl with a fork and knife or a pastry blender. If you've never seen what a pastry blender looks like, this is what it looks like. All right? So you can do it by hand, but I'm going to do it super fast, and I do want to keep my warm hands off of the dough because we don't want to melt our butter or make our cream cheese soft, because the colder the fat, the flakier the crust. Remember that. That's my mantra, and it works. So in a food processor, I have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to add 1/8 teaspoon of salt. If you want to leave the salt out for whatever reason, you're watching your sodium, leave it out. It's not a big deal. Just a little something to offset the sweetness of our delicious pizza. So I just pulse that just to get that salt in there. Now I have just a little bit over 1/3 cup of cold cubed cream cheese. All right. And we're going to pulse it till the cream cheese gets to be pea-sized pieces. Poof, poof. So you're just going to keep pulsing. Might be 8 or 9 times. Just look at it. Okay, it's about right. And now I'm going to add 1 stick of cold cubed butter, and I put them like in 1/2 inch size pieces, 1/2 inch cubes. So I want to show you. I don't want to touch it because I don't want to melt it. And I'm going to put it in there, distribute it around. Again, we're going to pulse till we get pea-sized pieces. And then this is a typical pie crust known as a pâte brisée or a flaky pie crust. But I'm going to give you my little secret tip. We're going to add a little bit of an acid. And I don't mean like a battery acid. I mean a delicious acid. So some people use vodka. Some people use lemon juice, orange juice. We're going to use orange juice today because we have that berry thing going on. We're going to be putting a little bit of orange juice into our berry marinara sauce. So everything sort of plays together. If you don't want to use juice, ice water is what you need to do. This is ice cold. It's been in the fridge, so it is very cold, this orange juice. Freshly squeezed orange juice. You could even use, a bottle, a container of orange juice. It doesn't matter. 3 tablespoons of your orange juice. Go right in. Now, if you notice, I have way over 3 tablespoons because I might need more. Sometimes the flour needs a little bit more because the dough is a little dry. Now we just pulse until it comes together. It's not going to be very, very doughy. It's not going to come into a ball very easily. You don't want it to because we're trying to keep as little water-based ingredients out of this as possible. What's orange juice? It's got water in it as well. What does water and wheat flour do? Together they form gluten. Gluten creates toughness. We don't want a tough crust. So I'm going to show you. Let's see. Let's do the squeeze test. You see how it holds together? It's pretty good. But you know what? I'd like to add just a little bit more orange juice. And you're going to actually use your judgment. And I'm going to show you how to use your judgment. So if you notice what I did, I took a bunch of dough into my hand. You're just going to pulse this. And you can see it's beginning to build up on the sides. I think we're ready. I think you're ready. You're ready. So now what I do, this is my thing. This is only my thing. You're only going to see it on my channel, is I take my dough and I put it into a mixing bowl. All right. Watch the blade. All right. You don't want to hurt yourself. And I'm going to show you, get all that good stuff out of there. You're going to gather it. You're going to push it. You're not going to knead it. Oh, and it feels nice. You'll notice it feels like I could push it together and make a ball out of it. That's what I'm looking for. This is a perfect flaky pie crust. And I'm just going to push it against the sides of the bowl. All right. Sometimes it might need that extra little bit of orange juice, and sometimes it won't. But what you want to do now, I sort of feel like I have a sponge in my bowl and I'm sort of collecting all the little tidbits of dough. I'm going to take some plastic wrap and I'm going to wrap it in plastic wrap and I'm going to give it a rest. I'm going to give what I consider the baby a little nap. So without pushing on the dough with my hands directly, because my hands are warm, I'm going to wrap this very tightly and push it into a disc. And I'm going to chill it for about an hour. Now, if I want to make this ahead and get it ready for, let's say, Father's Day, and I want to do it the day before, I just can freeze it. Just date it, label it, freeze it, and then take it out the day before. And you might want to leave it out of the fridge till it softens just a little bit. But this rest gives it a chance to relax that gluten, any gluten that we formed in the food processor or by me gathering it in the bowl. We are going to have a flaky crust. See you back. So while my dough is chilling, I'm now going to make my berry marinara sauce. And I like to do that in a food processor. Now, I've chosen red berries because marinara traditionally is red, and we're trying to do sort of a riff on that in a dessert form. So I have taken 1 cup of thawed frozen raspberries. Do not use fresh because you do want the water that's in them, and they really give off a lot of liquid, as you can see. So we want that in here. Okay. I have half a cup of fresh cubed strawberries. And 1/4 cup of strawberry or raspberry preserves with the seeds, without the seeds, your choice. All right. Now to give it a little, je ne sais quoi, 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. Just a little something extra, all right? And then a teaspoon of freshly squeezed orange juice. That's our sauce. That's our marinara. So easy. So easy. All right, now you puree it till everything is really pureed. If you like your quote-unquote marinara a little chunky, you can leave it a little chunky. And if you don't use it all and you roll out your pizza a little bit less wide than I'm going to, it's great over ice cream. It's a great sauce for over a chocolate cake. Yum. And I can smell it. It's very, very marinara. I'm going to pour it into a, doesn't that look like marinara? Oh, it looks so cool. It looks so cool. And if you have a few chunks of your strawberry in there, don't worry. Let's get all the good stuff out. Because you may not use all of it. Some people like a saucy pizza, and some people don't like it as saucy. And that's fine. And now I'm going to chill this while I roll out my crust. So my dessert pizza crust has chilled. I rolled it out to a 12-inch diameter circle. I had a big bowl. And I put it into a greased pizza pan, as you can see, and it looks gorgeous. And I have about a tablespoon of milk, and I have about a tablespoon of sugar in the raw or turbinado sugar. If you don't have turbinado, you can just use regular granulated. And I'm just going to go around the edges because I want to make like a little cuff, like a little edging so that our berry marinara doesn't go over the boundary. All right. So before I do the sugar, I'm just going to do a little boundary around, just a little crust, you know, like a regular pizza crust. Just going to go around, or else our berry marinara will be free range, be going all over. So this is a nice 14-inch pizza pan. If you have a cake pan, you can do it in a cake pan too. And we're just going to, I sort of flip up the edges with my thumbs. All right. Just like a monkey, right? And I'm just going to seal it so that the milk helps the dough that I've lifted up adhere to the main circle, all right, to the bigger circle on the inside. I'm just going to go around. And we're going to bake this. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit because a pizza crust does, and a pie crust as well, gets really pretty high oven. This is not going to be as hot as a real pizza, a savory pizza, but it's going to be up there, 400. And I'm really going to seal this now and push, 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 because I really want to keep this little edging up. All right. Take your time with this. Don't rush it. And then I'm just going to go around with a little bit more milk, just a little bit. You don't want to douse it because we're going to have sauce on there. And when I mean a pizza, dessert pizza with the works, I mean you can use your imagination and just do whatever you want. But I am going to just put some sugar in the raw on there, or granulated, whatever you want to do. And if you want to skip this, you don't even have to do it. It's up to you. It's sort of beginning to look like a regular pizza, but so much better because it's for dessert. And this is about a tablespoon. I was a little liberal with the sugar. Now, marinara. So this is our berry, quote unquote, marinara. So I'm going to put, I don't know, as much as you like, maybe a half a cup. Oh, it smells so berry-ish. It smells so yummy. And I'm just going to smear it. Doesn't that look like a real pizza? It flips me out. It's like so real. And then I am going to put some pineapple chunks. It could be canned. They can be fresh. It's up to you. And I'm going to save some of this. I always hope I have a little extra because I can put that on, you know, ice cream or fruit or whatever I want to do, or on top of a peanut butter sandwich. Skip the jam, baby. This is good. I'm going to rotate this and go right out to where your little crust, heavier edging is. And if you want to add more sauce, you can. Boy, the berries are really fragrant. Raspberries, strawberries, the jam, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. So now I have about, these are canned, about a cup. And I put them on paper towel because they tend to get very wet. I'm just going to put them all over, just like you would a topping on. And I know what you're going to say. Don't you want to put the cheese on first? Not this time. You're going to see. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm not going to tell you yet. Wait till you see what we're using for cheese. It's awesome. It's awesome. and it looks like real cheese, but it's not cheese. So this is about a cup. You can do less, you can do more. Remember, my oven's preheated to 400. I'm going to bake this, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to put some cherries on here. Dried cherries. If you don't like dried cherries, you can do dried cranberries. If you don't like dried cranberries, you don't have to put anything. Raisins, currants, fresh, pitted, sliced cherries, depending on the season. Now, there's more that's going to go on here, but it's going to go on after it gets out of the oven. Okay? So wait till you see what goes on here. So we're going to bake this for about 40 minutes, and it's going to look pizza-ish. You want it to get golden brown, and you want the crust to be done. So we're going to bake this at 400 for 40 minutes, and I'll see you back for more toppings. So I just took my pizza, my dessert pizza, out of the oven. And now it's time to sprinkle our toppings on. So I have some walnuts that I've toasted beforehand. So it's about a third, half of a cup, whatever you want to do. Sprinkle that on top. You want it to be relatively warm. I have some dark chocolate chunks. You could use mini chips. I have about a third of a cup. Told you it's with the works. With the works. And if anything doesn't melt well enough for you, you can always put it back in the oven for 2 seconds. I put it on a pizza peel because it is a pizza. I have some coconut, about half a cup, third of a cup of, and I toasted this ahead of time. You never really want to put the coconut on while you're making the pizza itself, the dessert pizza itself, because it might burn. So we're not going to do that. Woo, this is looking like a pizza. Pizza, pizza. Oh, if I got a delivery of this, I think I'd be quite happy. Quite happy. And then, does it look like real mozzarella? I hope so. But it's shredded white chocolate. And I have a video on how to shred chocolate. So you can put on as much or as little as you want. I have about, I think, maybe a cup here, but you probably won't need it all. And if you want it to get sort of melty, put it back in for a few minutes just to warm it up. It looks like a real pizza. It flips me out. It's so great. So awesome. And then we need some Parmesan, right? So, little confectioner sugar to look like shredded or grated Parmesan. Oh, now, this is a Father's Day dessert you can be proud of. And all the little ones can get involved and do so much to have fun making something fun for Dad or Grandpa or whoever they're celebrating. This is amazing. This is a dessert pizza you can be proud of. I hope you become a subscriber. I hope you make this pizza. Take care.